Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build guide for the Accursed modded class in Baldur's Gate 3. So this is made by Gunkmonk, and I'll be focusing on the subclass, the Possessed. What's cool about this is it uses its accursed abilities to channel it outwards, where it's eating at their own bodies, giving them terrible power at the cost of their own vitality. So we can use a lot of different effects that hurt ourselves, and then we can hurt the enemy with it. So it's a nice risk versus reward style class, and it's not OP. It also has a pretty cool effect once you make it all the way to level 20, that I'm not going to be doing level 20 build in this video, but once you make it to level 20, if you get reduced to 0 health points, you come back up and become immune to damage for 2 turns, which is pretty cool. But for the level, I guess we'll go with level 12 build here, and we have the dark side, so our melee attacks deal an additional 1d8 of necrotic damage until long rest. You have the stigma, so when channeling your dark side, you ignore resistance to necrotic damage, so that is our main effect there. As for our ability scores, Charisma is an important-ish stat. We can go with like 12 there, and then go with 16 strength or 16 dexterity, depending on what stat you want to focus on the most. And then we go with our 14 constitution, 10 wisdom, 12 charisma, and then 9 intelligence there. You do get some extra points. And for skill proficiency, you got to select those, so go with like your deception survival. Now, what's cool about this class is, again, we get to use effects that are going to damage ourselves and also damage the enemy. Now, I'll go over the full build guide and armor at the end of this video. At level 2, we get to delay the inevitable, so there's a 1d8 plus 2 healing. It uses a bonus action to delay the inevitable charge. This does scale up to 2d8 and then 3d8, so it's a pretty decent amount of healing. And then we also get to choose a fighting style. So defense being a really good one to increase our armor class so that we get hit a little bit less. That's my personal choice, but you can go with like dueling if you want to use a shield. Great weapon fight if you want a two-hander, or protection if you want to be more of a defensive person, but I think the increased armor class is better. Now level 3 we get to choose subclasses, and there's the Corrupted, which gives you Frightening Visage, which adds your proficiency bonus doubled for intimidation checks, and then we get the Unholy Bile, so we take damage and then instill them with blindness and fear. There's also the Damned, which gives the take 3 necrotic damage to give an ally 1d8 temporary health, and the Possessed, which also gives us the something else guiding your hand, giving you 1d6 bonus to ability checks, which is really nice. And then we also have the Dark Allure, which uses we take 3 damage and we pull an enemy towards us and deal 1d8 of necrotic, and we can also push them away with that too. So kind of cool. A couple different options there for potentially knocking someone off cliffs. And then we get to take a feat, so I think it's best to go with an increase to either our strength or our dexterity. I'm going to go higher dex for a better armor class. I think the best choice for this weapon is using the ballast armor and a piercing weapon, because at level 5 we get ourselves an extra attack, and we also get the dark drift, so take 5 necrotic damage and double your movement speed and prevent opportunity attacks this turn. So again, risk versus reward. This is like dash, but we take damage, and also avoid opportunity attacks. So it's an interesting way of playing it, because there is some risk to every choice that you make, which I think makes this incredible. We also got the Mortal Coil here, so when someone succumbing to your dark side, you're immune to the Charmed and Frightened abilities, which it's nice, because we're going to want to be in that form at all times. Then we have the Mired Strike, so when dealt damage, prevent all damage that we dealt and immediately suffer 7 necrotic damage instead. This gives us a lot of tankiness, because we will still take damage. You could get hit for 1 and take extra damage, or you could get hit for 20 and take less damage. So it's also necrotic damage, so unfortunately I did test it with some extra classes that have resistance to necrotic damage. It doesn't actually half that amount, it's just a flat out amount. So we can go with Alert here for the +5 to initiative and Can't Be Surprised, and then next level maybe take a dex or strength increase. At level 9 we get the Into the Abyss, so when below half your maximum health points, your armor class increased by 2, and you get a +2 bonus to weapon attack rolls, melee attack rolls that is. And then when succumbing to your dark side, your movement speed increases by 4.5 meters. And again, we want to be in that as much as possible, so more movement speed is even better. And then you can use an additional target when using Dark Allure and Dark Rejection. So level 10, extra bonus to attacking them. At level 11, we get the Desperation, so suffer 11 necrotic damage and make a weapon attack. This can be used per turn, which is really nice, because we can just hurt ourselves, and if we need that extra push to take an enemy out, we got it with this thing. So that's pretty cool. At level 12, we get ourselves another feat, and I'll cover over what you'd get. We'll take dexterity here. So if you're going to go with this all the way up to level, past level 12, so level 13, we get the Dark Shift. Your Dark Drift now instead teleports you to an unoccupied space you can see within range. Level 15, you gain additional charge to delay the inevitable. 16 feet, 19 feet, and then 20 Fate's Traitor. So once per long rest, when you're reduced to 0 health points, you're instead reduced to 1 and gain immunity to all damage for 2 turns. And then with the Possessed subclass at we got all of our effects there. So this is pretty cool. There's a few different subclasses that are interesting, but I think that this one is my favorite of the ones that I've tried. Now, we typically want to get into our dark side ability as much as possible. We got our Delay the Inevitable to heal ourselves twice, and then to Dark Drift, which will damage us, and then we get double our movement speed, and then weapon attacks there. So I think that the best option for gear is probably the Mask of Soul Perception. Deathstalker Mantle turn invisible is nice, but you could also, if you got the Cloak of Protection, you can go that route. So that is another one if you want to increase your armor class up to 18. And then we can go with like the Ballast Armor, which I think is probably the best choice here for armor on this, because this will give us the ability to damage a little bit more, and we get a decent armor class. And then we can go with a shield if we want 26 armor class, and then go with something like the... Depends what you want for a weapon. Like, obviously Nirelna being a very powerful weapon, but piercing damage is what we want, so Infernal Rapier can also be a good one if you want that. Or you can go with the Duelist Prerogative with no weapon in the offhand. Crimson Mischief is good because it'll get increased damage when we're below half our health, and we're going to be low health pretty frequently with this build, so that can be another good choice. Or even like the Blade of First Blood's not bad. We could go with like go with 2 weapons too if you wanted to. We even got Shar Spear Evening, which is my favorite because this gives you... This actually works really well in this build because you can turn invisible, or you can make darkness with that, which just gives us a lot of extra effects because going into the invisibility in the darkness is really useful, so we can go that route as well. So I'll show this off in combat just so you get a feel for what this looks like on the battlefield, because it's pretty fun. Again, high risk, high reward. It reminds me almost of the Blood Sorcerer, which is another high risk, high reward class. This one isn't overpowered though. Like, you're not going to be winning any encounter super easily with this one, but it is fun. So the dark side is something we want to start off our combat with, giving our weapons an additional 3 to 24 necrotic damage, and that lasts until long rest, and it's a bonus action there. So we'll affect ourselves with the dark side there. So boom, we get extra attack, they're extra damage, and then we can make our way up here. And you can go with like what's cool is the Dark Rejection also does a bit extra damage here, so you can pull them towards you, you can push them away, and we can also do 2 targets with this, which is fun. Or we can even, I guess we'll go the Rush Attack there to get closer to them. And we took them out first attack. 14 necrotic, 20 piercing. And again, piercing damage is going to be doubled because of the Ballast Armor, so that's really useful. And I guess we can't really make an attack on anyone else here, so we'll just end our turn there. So yeah, this is super cool because a lot of the effects, like that extra attack that you can get per turn, will hurt you, so you got to weigh it out and see if it's going to be worthwhile. For that, I recommend going with the Amulet of Greater Health for increasing your Constitution, Killer Sweetheart for a free critical hit, and Ring of Protection for overall protection. I like Hellrider Longbow for increased initiative as well, so you can go that route. And then we'll get up in their face, and you can also pop down your own darkness, but you don't have to, because I mean in this encounter it's not super wise to do that. But you can also push them back, and you can see where they'll get pushed to. So that's where you can get pretty fancy with this. So we can just walk around the corner here, and that's going to push him to his death. So we want that, and we can't see anyone else, unfortunately, but I just want to show off how this can be pretty funny. So boom, got a critical miss on one of them, and then just took him out. So yeah, you can be pretty annoying with this, which is fun. I think that makes this class very, very impactful. And yeah, you also got Illithid abilities, I think, which will be a very useful way of dealing a little bit extra damage. So you can go that route. We'll just drop that down as we have nothing else for our action to do. So Black Hole, pull them in, and we'll end our turn. So you can see there, being able to push them to their death is pretty fun. Then we block the darkness there. We're immune to... Oh, we can shove her off the cliff too. So hopefully they make their way out, just to show off some of the cool things. So we did take damage because we take our necrotic damage there from that. And I guess with this, we could push her to her death, and then he would just get pushed over there. So I guess we'll put all our chickens in one basket. Yeah, that's super useful. Being able to force push people. And then we have our Desperation attack, which we're taking damage from these, but we can also do this. We take damage and then do an attack like that. So boom, we took 12, but we dealt out more and took him down to half health. So that's super useful. And then all it really takes is a Mind Blast, a Illithid ability, and it should take him out. Boom, nice. That's pretty cool. We did hurt ourselves pretty bad, but part of the fun of this build is obviously being able to push people around like that and all the extra effects you get. So dark rejection, it'll also hurt them if nothing else. So don't be afraid to use that because it's quite powerful. Yeah, so the Possessed, really fun subclass of the Accursed in Baldur's Gate 3. If you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below. This mod was made by Gunkmonk. They did a great job on it. So yeah, I'll be doing builds potentially on the future other subclasses as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.